Okay, so in today's update about Quant, we are going to check out this move down and see what is happening in this specific phase. And I think we can identify some sort of an optimistic sign, but I do not believe right in here we should jump into any unnecessary bullish conclusion, because there is a chance that we may see another move down in QNT, and I'm going to show you the proper structures for it. So with that said, hi everyone, welcome back. I hope you are having a great time with your family and loved ones. And if you remember, the last time that we talked about Quant, we were right in here. And the idea was that if you want to be optimistic in QNT, okay, we need to see a move up, a solid move, in order to get back above this very important support area, which is from weekly and daily time frame at the same time. And the higher band of it is somewhere around, let's say, $79. Now, at the time, we had something like this, a bullish triangle structure, and I said, this is right now not confirmed yet. We need to wait a bit more and see, are we going to get a break of the higher line, do a pullback, and a continuation of the move up in order to take this high. And in this phase, in MACD, we need to see a break of the bearish divergence that we had right in here. So what happened? Not only we didn't get a break of the higher band of our triangle, we also didn't break the bearish divergence in here. And well, a bearish divergence by itself is a bit of a negative sign, and the moment that we got a break of the lower band of our triangle, our move down did actually continue at quite a bit of a rapid pace. So unfortunately, this didn't work, and the fact that at the moment we are kind of comfortably hanging under this important support area, to me, is not really an optimistic sign. And I'll be honest with you, for now at least, I'm not really seeing any sense of urgency in QNT to get back above this important support. If we do successfully get a break of this thing, at that point, I'm gonna tell you, maybe our move down is going to continue a bit more. And also, this is much more important, the moment that we hit the bottom and we get a very strong bounce back right in here, I promise you, we are going to probably get a rejection from this important resistance area, and then breaking it, I think, is going to take quite some time. So overall, if we manage to successfully get a break of this support, we can say our move down is going to continue for quite a bit, but it doesn't mean that we're going to have like a 50 to 70% move down. No, maybe like another 10 to 20% move. However, the most important point is that the recovery phase is going to take some time. This is very, very important to understand. Now, on Twitter, I saw actually somebody saying maybe this is going to be starting from this point. I think they said like a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 wave down, and well, okay, what happens after an impulse? Probably a move up, and they were arguing that this point can be our final low in QNT. Is this scenario possible or not? The answer is yes, it is possible. However, based on what I'm seeing at the moment, at least in here, I'm not really going to say that's going to be our primary case. Sure, you can consider this thing like a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. However, you can also argue maybe we are having from here a 1, 2, wave 3 to about this point, and right now we are having just a simple correction for wave 4. And what's going to happen next? Well, probably another move down into wave 5, and also for our wave 4, we can consider an A, B, C, either in form of a running or maybe an expanded flat, depending on whether we are going to take the height of our A leg or not. And for our subwaves, ABC up into A, ABC or WXY, doesn't really matter, into B, and then a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 up into wave C. Now let's go on the live chart and count some waves. So, assuming that you want to consider this point the end of your wave 3, well, okay, what are we having? I think we can say this is like an ABC up, followed by that probably an ABC structure down, and well, this might be a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. However, it may not be necessarily an optimistic sign, and on a higher degree, maybe all of these things are the subwaves for an ABC running flat or maybe an expanded flat. And again, if this is going to be an expanded flat, we may even continue this move up in Quant and take this high about, let's say, $72.50. And even at that point, you're not really going to see me being completely bullish in Quant and call this point our final low. At that point, sure, having an impulse in here is going to be an optimistic sign, but you probably know what I'm about to say. I'm just going to wait a little bit more, because after a 5-wave up, what are we going to have? A move on the downside. And I think we can all agree nothing goes up or down straight, right? That's why after a 5-wave up, I'm going to wait a bit more and see what the shape of that move on the downside is going to look like for us. If we get a choppy and a slow move down, fair enough, that can be an optimistic sign. And right in here, you are going to see me calling for another move up in QNT. On the other hand, if this is going to be like a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 wave down, a very strong move down in order to visit the lows in here once more, well, okay, at that point, you're going to see me talking about this 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 wave down with a bit more confidence. And also in terms of classic technical analysis, meaning support and resistances, I think we can identify a daily time frame support, which is all the way down here about, let's say, between $55 to around $60. And I think if we're going to have another move down, a likely target for it is going to be reaching to somewhere around this support area. And then, well, okay, let's hope that from here, we're going to get a very strong bounce back. And for example, we're not going to continue this move and take this low down here about $54.50, because at that point I am going to kind of change some subwaves and come up with another possibility as my primary scenario. So let's have our final conclusion and wrap up today's update. In QNT, for now at least, I'm not really going to be completely bullish and say this is our final low. No, I'm thinking maybe we're going to have some sort of a correction into our wave 4, probably in form of an ABC flat, and then we can count on another move on the downside into wave 5. And I want to be very clear, there is a difference between a trader and investor. From a trader point of view, right in here is not really a buying opportunity. You need to wait a bit more and see a very strong move, maybe like a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 wave up in order to especially get back above this important area. And then during the pullback phase, in order to have a retest of this level, if we see the proper structures, okay, right around these areas can be a long opportunity for you. Again, just if you are a trader. Now, from an investor point of view, the story is way different. And basically, dollar cost averaging is the name of the game in here. In my opinion, overall, these prices are extremely cheap, and around these areas are magnificent buying opportunities. That's why when we got the recent move down in here in Quant, and the moments that we took this low, I did add a little bit more, but I'll be honest with you, I do have some more orders around these areas. So I'm just going to be patient and wait and see, are we going to have another move down or not? If we get another move down, fair enough, that's going to be a beautiful buying opportunity for me for the long term, because in terms of risk to rewards, well, okay, what's going to be your stop loss in the long term? You can even consider your stop loss being under this important low around, let's say, $35, and you're going to have maybe like a $30 to $40 stop loss overall. However, what about your targets? Well, if you believe that we are going to have an alt season, then I think we can all agree that QNT is going to participate in that. And if we're going to do it, well, okay, I think the bare minimum target for Quant can be taking the highest side in here about, let's say, $450. But I think we can actually go quite a bit higher than that, potentially to somewhere around $800 to $1,000. Now, let's not be that optimistic, and let's just even consider the $450 target. So I'm going to have overall, again, this is just from an investor point of view, a $40 stop loss, but around like a $400 target, which will basically give me a 1 to 10 risk to reward ratio, which is absolutely amazing. So again, if you want to be an investor, these are great buying opportunities. But from a trader point of view, please consider having maybe like another move on the downside in QNT. So in case that we get it, you don't really be surprised. And I hope I explained everything well and you understood what is going on in Quant's price charts. Anyway, if you found any value in my content, I would really appreciate if you like this video and consider subscribing to my channel and follow me on Twitter. And if you want more, maybe you want a complete analysis for your own specific crypto, or maybe you want to learn some decent TA in order to be able to make good money in the markets, you can become a member and ask me anything you want. And until the next update, I hope you have a wonderful time. Goodbye.